So, the human immunodeficiency virus or HIV is a kind of virus, a human virus, mind you, not a computer virus, that attacks the immune system and makes it deficient or suppresses it. To further explain stuff, why don't we use this video aid right here?
So HIV virus is represented by these green dots over here, which is taking charge of the machinery of T helper cells, which are a type of WBCs which help in fighting off the infections caused by bacteria and pathogen. It gains access into the WBC and starts replicating at a very rapid rate, and the progeny are released into the bloodstream, which further infect other WBCs, as we can see right here, and this leads to subsequent decrease in the number of WBCs and hence makes a person very immunodeficient.
The incubation period is the time between the infection of an organism into our system and the appearance of clinical manifestations like signs or symptoms due to the infection of said organism. The incubation period for HIV or the human immunodeficiency virus can range from a few weeks to several months to, in some cases, 10 to 12 years, which means that it's extremely long and unpredictable. First, you can get tested for not only HIV but other STIs. This will help you and your partner make more informed choices and know each other's status. Secondly, indulge in less risky sexual behaviors. So, testing for HIV is the only definitive way to know whether or not you have the virus in your system. Alright. So, unfortunately, there is no cure for HIV. Let not any other myth tell you otherwise. Till date, there is no cure for HIV, although antiretroviral therapy can control the virus, meaning that people with HIV can live long, fulfilling, healthy lives. Some of them have grown to become stellar personalities like bodybuilders, also. Most research is looking for a functional cure where HIV is reduced to become undetectable and have harmless levels in the body permanently. But some residual viruses do remain, which is why we say there is no permanent cure. Other research is looking for a sterilizing cure where HIV is eradicated from the body completely. But again, this is very complex and very risky because HIV involves the human immune system and it already compromises it, which is why looking to eliminate the virus might also be looking to further suppress the immune system. So, trials of HIV vaccines are encouraging and they've worked in a few experimental cases, but they offer only partial protection so far. So, अब के लिए मान के चलो कि HIV का कोई क्योर नहीं. So, there are a lot of myths regarding the prevention of HIV. Some of the most common ones are having sex with a virgin, or showering after sex, or even taking the contraception pill, the OC pill as we call it. But unfortunately, OC pills only prevent unwanted pregnancies. They are not used to prevent sexually transmissible diseases, and the only effective way of preventing HIV or any sexually transmitted disease is by using barrier methods of contraception and like condoms, female condoms, diaphragms, etc. And if you have a higher risk of being exposed, then taking the pre-exposure prophylaxis or the PrEP is another way in which you can prevent HIV. That is a series of medications that will help you prevent HIV by decreasing the viral load if there is any, or if you feel you're at risk for HIV infection. No, herbal medication in any way does not either improve your immunity or cure HIV or help prevent the infection. All of these are huge myths. No, HIV is not always passed on from someone living with HIV. A lot of reasons why. For example, if the HIV person is on antiretroviral therapy and if the doctor says that the virus has reached undetectable levels, it means that there is little to no risk of it passing on to you. So, although you and your partner are both HIV positive, that does not ensure that y'all are completely allowed to exempt the possibility of your symptoms aggravating, because there are more than one strains of HIV, and a combined HIV infection with two different strains is much more difficult to combat than a single strain of HIV infecting you.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
I'm sitting back there like sweating and churning because all these memories are coming up, and it's just like, wow, that's a lot up in there.
Right. I'm actually nervous too because it's like telling the world, especially the people who know you.
And isn't it ironic that after all these years, there's a stigma underneath that?
Absolutely.
What is the stigma? Shame. Some sort of shame. How long have you been diagnosed?
I've been living with HIV for 9 months. Last fall, I started getting sick, and I never got better up until a friend of mine pointed out that I was sick all the time. I moved out on the 1st of December of last year, and then I got my results 4 days after. So it was a lot. As soon as I saw that it was reactive, my entire body almost shut down. I could not say a word.
For me, I had slept with about, I think, 7 people at that time. I was 23, I think it was. At the time, nobody knew what caused it. It was bathhouses and poppers, and I had never gotten near either of those. That's what they said they thought it was. My roommate said, I want to go get tested for that disease. And I'm like, well, you don't do drugs. We went to support him, and we all got tested together, and we all got tested positive together. And Tony's dead, and Jim is still alive. I felt so alone, even next to somebody.
Absolutely.
Completely alone. How were they about it? Have you told them?
I have told them last week.
How was that?
I said, before anything, I want you to know I am being taken care of. I am taking care of myself. I will be okay. I told them that I was HIV positive. My mother broke down in tears. My father was clearly affected as well, but it seemed to me as if he was in denial at that moment.
Yeah, when I told my mom, I said, okay, so it's just so you know, I've had this for 10 years, and unfortunately I've reached the place where... How many pills are you taking?
Luckily, just one.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. There was a point when I was taking 18.
Oh my God.
3 times a day. Part of the process to get where we are today is we would just volunteer. Everyone donated their bodies to science. I did a vaccination study one time where I got an injection at 6:30 in the morning. They drew my blood every 15 minutes for the next 3 hours, then every half hour, all the way for 12 hours. And I had all up and down my arms. They're gonna go to my legs next. And you just did it because you had to. You had to and you wanted to.
I was told more than once by specialists saying that you are more than likely to die from a car accident than with what you have.
What are you most afraid of?
To get rejected by, per se, your own blood, to be thought of differently, that there is a possibility that in their minds you are just an HIV positive person. What were you most afraid of?
It sounds odd. I was most afraid that I was never going to be able to ride horses again. If you ever run across a person who's long-term survivor and they look dead or tired or depressed or they're bitter, just know they're a little bit tired.
We have it good. Having your friends and families die, it's dark compared to the now.
Well, I tell you, if you ever decide to reach out and continue to foster friendships with people who are from my generation, they'd probably thrive on it.